What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for January 14th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. It is a Sunday edition of the podcast, one more day before the Eagles' big playoff game. As always, let's start with the question of the day recap. And 67% of you, two-thirds, said, yes, I'm excited for the NFL playoffs. Unfortunately, the games didn't necessarily equate to that yesterday. Both games were just duds, unless you're a Chief or a Houston Texans fan. I do think the Texans are going to be good moving forward. I like what they're doing there. I like D'Amico Ryans, but that game, they just dominated, which I think the luck for Cleveland kind of ran out. They were a completely different team this year at home than what they were on the road, and being that this was a road game, you saw that. The Steelers really got screwed, I think, with the moving of that game, which, I get it is a public safety issue, which is fine, but it just, I don't know. They had a shot with the way they play and everything that was kind of happening there, but it is what it is. Thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. 267-495-8531. Leave a voicemail, send a text message. And while you're at it, go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Let's get those subscriptions up over 100. The closer we get to 100, or once we get over 100, it opens up many more things. So be sure to go to subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe. That way you stay in the loop. Even if you're listening on a podcast, go to YouTube, Jimbo_Mont, subscribe. Help me out since you are listening. Again, the analytics are there. You guys are listening. Just hit that subscribe button and be done with it. All right, good win for the Flyers. 2-0 out on the road in Winnipeg yesterday. Winnipeg coming in had been one of the hottest teams in the NHL. It was a road win. They play solid defense, but the Flyers shut them out 2-0. Cam Atkinson scored both goals. And again, this is a good bounce back. Every time I feel like I'm ready to sort of bury them and chalk it up to rebuilding and everything like that, they come out and have a game like this. So again, fun team to watch. Hockey is back in Philly. So good win for the Flyers as they're trying to make a decision within the next few weeks on what they are. Are they a team that's going to be buyers at the trade deadline, or are they going to be sellers? So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Sixers off today. They return to action tomorrow at the Wells Fargo Center, tomorrow afternoon against the Rockets. No word yet on Joe and whether he's going to play, but we'll keep our eyes on that. You know what you should keep your eyes on? PhillyGoat.com. Man, I told you the other day about those shoes, and those shoes are awesome. They're great to wear to the beach, great to wear to the boardwalk. Take them down to the shore. Whatever you got to do, go check them out. And I think maybe if you looked at them, maybe you missed this. The names are phenomenal. Each one has a name, like for different neighborhoods, different shore towns, different teams. Go check them out. The canvas loafer shoes at Philly Goat. Pick up a Believe shirt while you're there. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order at checkout. That's PhillyGoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Check out the shoes. Check out the Believe shirt. Gotta believe. We got a big Eagles game tomorrow. Let's believe. Pick up the shoes. Pick up the Believe shirt, and let's do this. All right, speaking of the Eagles, it came down. A.J. Brown's out. And so everybody was saying, oh, he's doing this. And I don't necessarily think he is faking it and kind of quitting on the team. I think he's trying to stay focused, and he was rehabbing. And I do think that once if they win, apparently he's going to be okay to play in the next round. I think all of the people out there making a bigger deal about it, I think just relax. He's under contract for another 2 years, so it's not like he's going anywhere. And I think based on what he said in his locker room interviews, I think it's much ado about nothing. I think he's legitimately still hurt. I think if they win, he will be able to come back. But we'll monitor it as it goes, and that's a big if they win. Reed Blankenship did not practice. He's listed as questionable. He still has a shot to play, and I think having him play will be a good – they need him to play. They need all hands on deck on that defense. Hopefully you get a good update today from him. Everyone else, though, is full practice. Hurts, Swift, Devontae, Slay, everybody seems prepared to play. I mean, they're going to be, I guess, as healthy as they could be moving forward. I don't know what that means again, but Baker Mayfield is banged up. He's officially listed as questionable, but he is expected to play. And I mean, I think they just need to somehow go back and figure out how to get pressure on him. But we'll see. We'll break the game down a lot more tomorrow. The last thing on the Eagles, I will say, and I saw a lot of people talking about this, and this is actually going to be the question of the day too. Derek Barnett obviously had a big game yesterday for the Texans, and I don't know. He didn't do anything here. He kind of had played himself out of the rotation. Maybe it was a change of scenery that did him good, but it is what it is. But that is our question of the day. Should the Eagles have kept Derek Barnett? And it's easy after yesterday's game and seeing how he's been playing for Houston that they should have. But let me know, Derek Barnett, should the Eagles have kept him? He had a big game yesterday. Didn't do much when he was here the last couple of years in Philly. I mean, the way the defense has been playing, I don't think it could hurt. But let me know. I mean, thinking about when they traded him or released him at the time, should they have kept Derek Barnett? 267-495-8531. Send me a text message, voicemail. Let me know. Again, it's easy to say they should have, but I mean, he wasn't doing much here. And a lot of times you see guys get traded in all sports, have a change of scenery, and then all of a sudden they are good to go. So let me know. Should the Eagles have the Eagles have kept Derek Barnett? 267-495-8531 gets you through. Also, while you're at it today or tomorrow, everybody's off tomorrow, go to check out the Clashing Conferences podcast. My boys are doing a good job over there. I was on as a guest this week. I had a lot of fun talking Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, the future of the Eagles. Again, they're doing a great job, doing good things over there. So check out the Clashing Conferences podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. I was a guest, so if you want to go support me, check me out. Let me know. Again, while you're there, like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Let's get those subscriptions up over 100. All right, today we are going to go back to 1922. And on January 14th, 1922, Ben Shibe officially passed away. I shouldn't say officially. Ben Shibe passed away. He was the president and part owner of the Philadelphia Athletics from the very beginning. He was very instrumental in the played a very instrumental part in getting the A's into the American League back when it formed in 1901. Obviously, he was the namesake of Shibe Park, which later became Connie Mack Stadium at 21st and Lehigh. However, he played a much larger role in the history of baseball than just being the president and part owner of the A's. He worked before he got into being the owner of the A's. He worked as an executive for A.J. Reach Sporting Goods in the city of Philadelphia. And he's credited and responsible for inventing the machinery that helped standardize the stitching on baseball production. So back then, everything was baseballs were made by hand. So everything was different, and obviously it made a big difference with the way pitchers used it and hitters and everything. And a lot of places back then, the AL and the National League and American League all used different balls. The Spalding Company was responsible for, I believe, the National League ones. So once the stitching sort of got more standardized and the balls were the same, it kind of made the records and everything more uniform and made the game a lot better. So he's credited with that. Now, more on the A.J. Reach Sporting Goods Company. Again, a Philadelphia company. They did a lot of different things for moving, I guess, the technology and advancing, I should say, the technology of sporting goods. They were the first, and there's you can look this up. There's pictures of it, and I believe they're up in the Hall of Fame as well. They came up with the first prototype for a batting helmet. It definitely did not take off. However, because people were getting hit. And I mean, back then I shouldn't say a lot, but there was a larger number than what you would expect of people dying from getting hit in the head with baseballs. So they came up with the first prototype for that. Eventually, they would sell their company to the Spalding Company, but AJ Reach Sporting Goods, responsible for so many advancements in the technology of sporting goods, including standardizing baseballs, as well as the first prototype for a batting helmet. Ben Shibe, who was the founder and part owner of the Philadelphia Athletics, worked for them and is credited with inventing that machinery for the standardization of the stitching. But on this day in 1922, Ben Shibe passed away. Very, very instrumental in not only Philadelphia baseball, as well as just the advancement of the game in general. 21st and Lehigh, there is I've seen it before, they do have his Pennsylvania historical marker where the stadium was, if you ever want to go down and see that. But on this day, Ben Shibe passed away in 1922. All right, finally today, our free agents who had a fresh start in Philly. If Moses Malone is hands down the number one, we talked about him yesterday. One of the best free agents, I would have to say, the Phillies ever signed, or Philadelphia team ever signed, and that's Roy Halladay. And he was kind of traded, so it wasn't necessarily a free agent. So I'm kind of bending the rules a little bit, but he had such a fresh start and just came in, and he did sign the new contract and everything. But he was traded from the Phillies to the Blue Jays in December of 2009. If you remember back when this happened, everybody was up in arms because they let Cliff Lee walk, or they traded Cliff Lee like a week before to make room for Roy Halladay, and everybody thought that they were going to have both. But he came in and had just simply phenomenal is the only way to describe it. 2010 season, in his first year as a Philly. He won. He was the first Philly to win 20 games since 1982 when Steve Carlton did it, and coincidentally, he is the last one to ever win 20 games for the Phillies. Something that might never happen again, just with the way the game is. He threw his perfect game down in Florida in May. In his first postseason appearance ever, he threw a no-hitter against the Reds in the NLDS. It was only the second no-hitter ever thrown in the postseason. Up until that point, he was the first pitcher since 1923 to throw 250 innings with 30 or less walks, which is just phenomenal if you think about that. 250 innings and 30 or less walks. Pretty darn good. He was a unanimous winner of the Cy Young Award that year and almost backed it up and came back in 2011. He went 19-6 with a 2.35 ERA, just missing out on the 20 win. He finished second in the Cy Young in 2011. And then, unfortunately, after those two magical years, he kind of got old very, very fast. And as you see happen a lot of time with pitchers, he kind of just hit the proverbial wall. His numbers sort of spiked in 2012, and then 2013 he was injured a lot. But all in all, he spent 4 years in Philly, went 55-29, 3.25 ERA, 18 complete games, 5 shutouts, 622 Ks against 137 walks. He is in the Hall of Fame. He does have his number 34 retired out in Citizens Bank Park out in Ashburn Alley. Unfortunately, then he tragically died a few years later in a plane crash. But today's, and I'm going to put it in quote because he wasn't a free agent, but I had to include Roy Halladay because of just how well he did. And since it was an off-season trade and not a mid-season trade, and basically since I'm making up the rules anyway, I figured why not include him. But today's, how about Philly Newcomer, who had a fresh start, was Roy Halladay. He came in and somehow took his game to another level in 2010 and 11 before kind of falling off. But Roy Halladay, those teams, how the 2010 or 2011 team did not even get to the World Series blows my mind. But Roy Halladay is today's player who had a fresh start when he came to Philly. Be sure to call or send a text message to the voice and text line. Should the Eagles have kept Derek Barnett? I think it's easy after yesterday's game to say, yeah, they should have kept him. But take a step back, look at the whole picture. Should they have kept him? And would he have made a difference going into Monday's game? Let me know. On this day in 1922, Ben Shibe died. He was the president, part owner of the Philadelphia A's, as well as the man responsible for standardizing the stitching on the baseballs for the A.J. Reach sporting goods company based out of Philadelphia. Will Reed Blankenship play. And as you're sending texts and calling, or sending texts or leaving voicemails, let me know what you're thinking about the game. We're getting closer. You have 2 wild card games now under our belts. Let's see. What are we thinking about the games moving forward? Are we feeling better? Are we feeling worse? Now that AJ's out, is everybody just completely out now on the Eagles? Let me know. 267-495-8531. Get you in. Go to Philly Goat. Check out those shoes, man. They're awesome. Check me out on the Clashing Conferences podcast this week, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do it, please. Jimbo_Mont. Let's get them up to 100 subscribers. It's going to be a chilly one today, but I don't think there's going to be any rain. So get out. Enjoy your Sunday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.